Last part of the painting process today, we're going to get this front end taken apart so we can cut it all in with color and move on to the start. So let's start with disassembly. As you can see, things are looking pretty neglected in here. I haven't opened this hood in quite a while, other than cutting in the underside of it. However, I have to clean all this up, remove everything, get these headlights out of here, and prep all this for paint. We'll start with removing the fuel filler neck. We need to make sure we keep all of our bolts organized. Followed by the overflow canister. Now removing the coolant swirl pot. Get this battery out of the way. Next, this bumper valance can come off. Now removing the headlights. With the headlights out of the way, I can remove the HID assemblies. Out comes the radiator fans. Now the bash bar. And lastly, the radiator. Okay, got everything all cleared out. I have both left and right wiring harnesses pulled back and just stuffed into bags and out of my way for now. So now we can move forward, and we're going to clean up all the surfaces with some prep salt. Got the first wipe down done. It looks a little better. The overall idea is just to get all the impurities or whatever oil is in there off. So unfortunately back here, I spilled a bunch of brake fluid trying to get that master cylinder, the clutch done. So all the paint had to come off for that, as well as a little bit on that frame rail. So moving on, we're going to go over all this painted material with the Scotch-Brite pad. Moving on with the paint prep, I had to take out both of my headlights. As you can see, I made these headlight buckets not too long ago, and I put in these 4 eagle eye lights along the front of it. So those are going to have to come out for paint. And also, I figured while I was at it, I was having trouble with one of these bulbs, and as opposed to just trying to deal with it later, I went ahead and replaced all of them with these new eagle eyes from a company called Oxito. So these work much better than the ones I have in here, as well as I upgraded the H1 LED headlight bulbs from them as well. I'll leave product links for both of these light bulbs in the description below. So here they are lit up, and you can see that second one in from the back. That one's the one that's not as bright as the rest. Here's a quick look at the Oxito light bulb. You can see that thing is really focused and are much brighter than the other models I had. So here's a quick look inside the box from the LED H1 bulbs. Really nicely packaged. Pretty good looking unit with a built-in fan and a much cleaner wiring harness than the other models I have. Let's light this up real quick and see how it looks. Okay, I got my ground connected. We're just going to add some power here. That's one super bright and clean looking light out of that thing. So to disassemble these, they just bolt right into the back of the housing, and then I have them all wired into this bus assembly, so it helps you wire them all together with one weather pack connector. Now that we have everything out of here, we can prep for paint. All right, so after hours of prep work, I finally have everything ready for some primer. I got everything taped off. I've added aluminum foil to my brake line so I don't have to take everything apart again and re-bleed my brakes. And now we can add the primer over the seam sealer and bare metal areas. All the primer work done. Painted both headlight buckets with primer as well. So now we can move on to actually putting on some Imperial Blue. It is the next day, the paint has dried and this thing is looking pretty good. So now I can rip off all that plastic and aluminum foil and we can start reassembly. Got the wiring harnesses put through the upper and lower radiator hoses, and I think we're ready to put in the radiator now. Now I can get the upper radiator hose on. And now reinstalling the cooling fans. So now that I got pretty much everything under the hood put back together, it's time to turn our attention back and putting these headlights together again. Okay, let's test these lights out and see how they look. Yep, that looks pretty good. Now it's time to get these headlight upgrades in from Oxito. These are H1 LED bulbs. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can get an extra 15% off on anything site-wide. And now we can get our bumper bracket installed. At this point we can get rid of this ugly hood prop rod by installing these gas struts along with these ball studs. I'll leave a link in the description for these below. Just prior to painting this, I added this nut cert right here, which allows you to thread these ball studs in right here. And another one on your center fender bolt location. It looks like that's a wrap for today's video. I gotta say, I'm extremely excited that we've made it this far. So moving on, what we're gonna look forward to in the next video is we're going to attempt the first start, which will either be a fire or a failure. So join me for that, hit subscribe, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.